Well, this came out today that the Vancouver Canucks are still poking around UFA Phil Kessel. And Rick Dhaliwal had the update, and he talked about with Tocchet saying there's value in Phil. I think he can still play 100%. That's from Rick Tocchet himself. And that was the last weekend. Sorry, that was with Luke Fox, the article in Sportsnet. But I think Rick Dhaliwal, I think they were saying he had followed up with him and he had talked to some sources. And yeah, they're still poking around on Phil Kessel. I saw a lot of Canucks fans saying stuff like this. I like Phil Kessel, like he's fun and hope he signs somewhere. I see no reason for the Canucks to be that somewhere. I mean, I'll say this. I think Kessel could be like a contributor, be a guy that maybe gets some extra goals in the bottom six. But the Canucks have a great bottom six, I think, how it's built. I just think on paper, if you look at the Canucks, like ignore everything you've seen this year. Be honest, folks. Be honest. And I'm in the same boat here. If you look at that Canucks bottom six just on paper, just completely on paper, and it's no disrespect to some of these guys that I'll list like Pius Suter, Teddy Bluger, Dakota Joshua. A lot of these guys have either been like just stepping onto the scene or haven't been a proven NHLer. Like Pius Suter, his last year in Detroit wasn't great. Teddy Bluger's always kind of been a fourth line in Pittsburgh. Dakota Joshua's kind of been up and down through the AHL, NHL. Like these guys are kind of just stepping on the scene. And I think that speaks a lot to Rick Tocchet's system. That's where I think, okay, Rick Tocchet's seen Phil Kessel. He knows the value, like the connection there of Pittsburgh, Arizona, like go down the list. Rick Tocchet has probably a lot of respect for Phil Kessel. So there's value there in just having the guy in the room, being a Stanley Cup champion 2 times, and just honestly just being a vet, knowing what it takes to win the playoffs. I think that could provide huge value. He talked about it. He doesn't have to play every night. Even if it's down the stretch and you sign him and he plays 10, 15 games and he goes in the lineup for 1 or 2 playoff games down a stretch. Like, I don't think the guy is going to take offense to that. He wants a contract. He wants to play, and he showed last year he can still play. He also, I said 2-time. Technically 3-time with Vegas, right? I'm sure people were about to get in the comments and grill me. 3-time Stanley Cup champion, Phil Kessel. Great to see. Also, got to talk about this in the video. Again, you should never be clicking off early, folks, because there's more. There's more. So Anthony DeMarco, who's close with the Flyers, said the Leafs forever and Canucks are the 2 main teams I've heard tied to Ristolainen. And Friedman's talked about it a lot, that Ristolainen's play has drawn attention. Contract makes things complicated, but the Canucks can send contracts the other way. We've talked about Canucks contracts that can go the other way, whether it's a Connor Garland, whether they want to flip Nikita Zadorov, or they want to send Tyler Myers the other way. I mean, Ristolainen's like a Tyler Myers-esque kind of player, right? And Ristolainen's had a lot better of a year. So I think that could be a play. That could definitely be a play. And if you're the Canucks, you're building a defenseman like defense core for the future. So I think that's a factor. And David Pagnotta adds to it saying, in addition to Vancouver and Toronto, I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas entered the equation. As for the Canucks, while nothing seems imminent, I'm told they spoke with Philly this week about their defense. So between Myers, Zadorov, all these guys that can send the other way, I'm sure Vancouver's going, hey, Philly, what is it going to take to acquire Sean Walker? Hey, Philly, what is it going to take to acquire Rasmus Ristolainen? These conversations surely are happening. And I'm sure they've also called Philly on Nick Seeler. Who knows if the Flyers even want to deal Nick Seeler? Friedman and other guys don't think so. I mean, they think John Tortorella loves that guy. They're going to try to re-sign Nick Seeler. But at the same time, we know John Tortorella loves Scott Laughton, and Scott Laughton's been in trade rumors, and I'll talk about that in another video. But we'll see, guys. So the Canucks on Ristolainen, potentially signing Phil Kessel. I don't think the Canucks are done. Maybe they were done for the massive move, which is Elias Lindholm, but this is still a significant move that I think that they'll do something. I think they'll do something else, and it might be a guy with term this time. So give me your thoughts, subscribe, like, comment, notification bell. We'll talk on the next one. Peace.